Okay, so first up today, we've got an article on CoinDesk, which is basically IBM announcing a truck tracking solution using the blockchain. And what they mean by the blockchain is basically a centralized Google spreadsheet. So what I mean by this is every time you're going to be hearing a lot of companies coming out saying, oh, we're going to be doing things on the blockchain. If they're not using a public blockchain like Ethereum or rootstock on Bitcoin, or anything else that can come out that is going to be a public blockchain, if it's not on that, it's basically a crock of shit. And the reason that it's going to be that is because if you're doing something privately, it's kind of like when the internet came out. All these companies wanted to have intranets instead of doing things on the internet. So the spiel was, an intranet can be, we can control it. It's going to be more secure. It's going to be something that we can control, all that kind of jazz. Whereas the big scary internet was too scary. There were too many hackers. It was too insecure. Blah blah blah. The reality, obviously, as we know now, is that intranets are pretty dumb. There's pretty much very very few companies globally actually use intranets anymore. Everything's on the cloud. Everything's on the internet, and it's exactly the same thing that's happening with public blockchains and private blockchains. Probably the best example of a private blockchain that's trying to get up and running at the moment is R3. R3 is basically guys going around trying to organize a consortium of banks to have a shared database so that they won't go into troubles like the GFC or lose track of mortgages. It's an enormous crock of shit. It's going to be absolutely corrupted. And the two main reasons that these private blockchains are going to fail is compared to the public ones, they are massively expensive and they are ridiculously insecure. All it is asking to be corrupted. And so that's one side of things. We're talking, I suppose, about the value of networks, and I'm talking about how the public network is obviously of great value. But there's another story today which is touching on the other side of things. So instead of the software and the network, if we go over and talk about the actual hardware that's used to actually run these systems, that is something that private companies are going to be getting into in a big way. And another article that we have on Bitcoin.com, we've got GPU shortages as cryptocurrency miners offers up to twice the average Russian monthly wage. So basically, this is an article saying how people can just get a miner in Russia and make an average wage. But the underlying theme here is that chip manufacturers or chips globally are becoming into short supply. And what that means is that there are big companies that are doing very, very well. And two of the biggest companies that run the chip manufacturing side of things are Intel and Samsung. There's only a matter of time before they actually come in and actually get into making the hardware for mining cryptocurrencies, and that could actually be a bit of an issue because we could see a bit of centralization. The reason for that is these massive companies can actually make chips at a much cheaper rate, and so they have much better economies of scale. They can do things bigger and better and all that kind of jazz. And because there are only a couple of the real big guys up the top there, it could create a centralized situation where all the hardware that's being made for crypto is pretty much being controlled by a couple of companies at the top, and that is a bit of a centralization issue. And so I know, Bitmain has been copying massive flack recently on the mining side of things, but we may, need them to be involved, basically to keep the other guys honest. So pretty interesting things there, just a bit of a topic of discussion. Moving on to the situation with Segwit 2x. Coin.dance is actually down at the moment. Checked it about an hour ago. Over the last 24 hours, about 84%. Oh, here we go. We're back up. Let's rock and roll. Okay, so Segwit intention. We have 85.4% of blocks are supporting Segwit 2x. So this is going from strength to strength. If you're not familiar, basically this is just going to mean that we're not going to have to worry about any different forks. Hopefully everyone just moves along the same line and we don't need to worry about the network splitting, which is fantastic. That's all I've got for today. If you did like the video, please like and subscribe. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day. Cheers.